Tonight on CTV News, Canterbury is given the all clear for a tsunami. The Greens move into town and we preview local rugby.
Broadcasting across Canterbury from the CTV studio, this is First at 5.
Good evening, welcome to CTV News, broadcasting live at ctv.co.nz. Well, some good news to start us off tonight. The Civil Defence has just cancelled the tsunami warnings for the east coast of New Zealand, including Banks Peninsula and the Canterbury coastline. The marine and beach warning had been in place since yesterday morning following the deadly 8.3 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Chile. Neville Riley, who's the Canterbury Group Controller for Civil Defence, says there will be some unusual water conditions such as localised surges and strong currents for the next 24 hours. He says this activity will gradually return to normal conditions over the weekend, but suggests people should still be cautious before entering the water or going out in small boats. As expected, 30-centimetre waves, nothing too dramatic, hit Littleton Harbour and Sumner about 2:30 and 5 this morning. And while it's been a pretty beautiful week of weather, we do have some weather warnings for you today.
Showers, snow, hail, strong winds. It's looking pretty crazy, really.
I thought it was meant to be spring. What's going on?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Tonight's really when it's starting to kick in, isn't it? Like from now onwards.
This evening we'll see wintry showers, some snow to 400-500 metres, so our alpine passes will be affected. And then Saturday we start to see some really decent moisture, so some significant snow and decent rain about the high country. So yeah, a wintry period coming up.
Now, it's understood at this stage that there's going to be kind of two waves of this, isn't there? There's the tonight and then later on. Do we talk about the second one as well?
Yeah, so about Saturday afternoon, so tomorrow afternoon it starts to get really cold and bleak again. So we'll see a decent period of rain. It will be widespread, so it's not just coastal, it's inland areas too. So yeah, everyone's going to be shivering tomorrow evening and decent snow above 300-400 metres, particularly about North Canterbury and the Kaikoura coast. Yeah,
let's talk about that a bit more as well, because it is basically North Canterbury at this stage as well, and Alpine passes as well.
For sure, yeah. So mid Canterbury, North Canterbury areas worst hit, and anywhere between, above that 300-400 metre mark, we should see some decent snow. So that'll affect lambing and high country farmers. So not too good, but then again, good for the skiers. They will see some much needed snow after the really hot week we've just had.
I was about to say, too, we have had quite a, it feels like we're kind of coming into summer. It's been quite a warm week, hasn't it? Is that likely to come back around again? What's that?
It's typical spring weather. So usually before we get southerlies, we get nor'west conditions, so high temperatures. I think some areas even got to early 20s earlier in the week. So it's not uncommon, but then again, to get this kind of snow and rain with the second wave tomorrow afternoon of activity, that is a little bit unusual in more July, June conditions. So.
We'll talk more again about the Alpine regions and stuff like that too. All those passes, are they expected to be closed? What's the kind of situation?
Quite likely. Porter's Pass will see some decent snow tonight. They could see 5 to 10 centimetres. And then again, tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night, some more snow and potentially 15 to 20 centimetres. So Porter's Pass, Lewis Pass are likely to be closed on Sunday morning. Arthur's Pass should see a little bit less snow, but then again, you will need to check road conditions before heading out.
Absolutely. Also, too, you mentioned, obviously, this isn't really good for lambing, is it?
No, it's not. The wind chill factor will bring it down to negative 10 degrees in some of those high altitude places, so not ideal for farmers. I guess we've put the warning out there, and Met Service have been covering this for the last 3 or 4 days, and so have we. So the warning has been out there, but yeah, it's looking like a happening thing. Yeah.
And obviously not good for them, but good for, I guess, the ski fields. They last a bit longer now.
Yeah, I think most of the ski areas should go right into the school holidays, so that's really great for them. But yeah, not so good for the farmers.
What's likely to happen around the city?
Well, tonight it's going to get cold. We're going to see some wintry showers come in tonight, strong winds and some snow on Banks Peninsula and possibly the top of the Port Hills overnight tonight. And then Saturday afternoon, more moisture arrives. We'll see some rain, wintry showers and decent snow on Banks Peninsula above 500-600 metres and possibly the Port Hills. So a wintry period and a wintry weekend coming up. And then into Sunday also we'll see some showers and wintry conditions. So yeah, not a good weekend after the mild week that we've just had.
Firearms and cannabis have been seized from a Timaru house just 300 metres from the Central Police Station. Acting Sergeant Richard Quest says they found 22 cannabis plants growing in a garden shed. They also seized a large sack of dry cannabis and a firearm. A 38-year-old Timaru man was arrested and charged with cultivating cannabis. He'll appear in court at a later date. Well, the Green Party has a new home in the central city just a year after trying to find a so-called suitable eco-friendly location. Chelsea Daniels reports.
The Green Party of New Zealand opened its new office today amidst the hustle and bustle of the inner city, with co-leader of the party, James Shaw, in Christchurch for the event. The location was chosen based on its sustainability, and their hunt for a wheelchair-accessible building in the CBD proved to be more difficult than they anticipated.
We've been looking for over a year now for a new facility, and we had some requirements. It had to be eco-friendly, it had to be in the central business district because we want to commit to the rebuild of the city, and it had to be fully accessible as well. And so that was quite a tough series of requirements to meet.
Shaw says it's important for the party to be based in the city to be at the real root of the rebuild.
I mean, the big thing obviously is the idea of a locally led recovery, and we have always been for a democratic grassroots level recovery. We were a big a contributor in terms of the original Share Your Idea process, and we were kind of sad where that ended up. A lot of those really good ideas got dispensed with, and so we're really standing with Christchurch as it rebuilds.
And he says there's definitely something special about Canterbury.
Well, there's a lot that's unique about Canterbury. I mean, the thing that I love most is, when I come down here and I get off the aeroplane and stand on the tarmac for the first time and I look out at the mountains across the plains. I mean, that is just the most exquisite sort of entrance to the city, if you like. And the rebuild, I know it's been very torturous and very difficult for a lot of people, and a lot of people are still really struggling with it. But it has also been an incredible opportunity to lay out a vision for what a smart green city can look like. And I think that there's some incredible things that are going on here that the rest of the country could really learn from.
Shaw is currently making his way around the country with fellow co-leader of the Green Party, Materia, today. Christchurch is their last stop on their whirlwind tour, coming in from Dunedin this morning. Chelsea Daniels, CTV News.
Very nice. Well, still to come here on CTV News, we'll update you on that local weather forecast. Welcome back to CTV News. Well, it's just been confirmed by the Ministry of Health that an Australian company, Leighton's, has been chosen as the preferred option for this $300 million construction contract for the new acute services building. And Chelsea Daniels has just filed this report.
The Union for Workers in the Christchurch rebuild is concerned that large public construction contracts are going to foreign-owned companies instead of local businesses.
It's price. It's just price. Who can do it cheapest? That's how we see the government is looking at it. It's the price. Is it cheaper? Then that's what we're doing. It's straight neoliberalism, and they just carry on with it.
It has been confirmed that the preferred contractor for the Christchurch Hospital's new acute services building will be an Australian company. In a comment from the National Health Board Acting National Director Michael Hundleby, Leighton Contractors have been appointed as preferred contractor for the pre-construction phase of Christchurch Hospital's acute services building. The pre-construction phase will last 4 months, will determine the final contract. This approach will enable Leighton's to submit a fixed price contract to the Ministry of Health for consideration. It does not guarantee appointment for the construction phase. Leighton's were appointed as a result of a competitive tender process. 5 companies registered their interest in the tender, 4 provided bids, and the ministry worked with 2 companies before making the appointment. Leighton's have experience on major hospital development projects in Australia and recently worked on Christchurch's new bus interchange. And Angel says the union is not impressed with the decision.
We understand an overseas company has got the rebuild of the Christchurch Hospital, so that's the main building, about $300 million project. And our concern is that we're going, why is this sort of money going overseas when it could remain in New Zealand? We are concerned that the government allows that economic capital to go overseas when we have the skills and ability here in New Zealand to be able to do this type of work. So why can't it stay in New Zealand?
Angel is concerned about the use of taxpayer money funding an overseas company rather than keeping the work homegrown.
Our concern is that, there's local companies have loyalty to their community. You know, they are part of the community and they are here for generations. Whereas the overseas companies, they're like seagulls. You know, they fly in, eat all the chips and then bugger off again. And we get nothing out of it.
He says with the city's rebuild on the straight and narrow, other huge contracts could be given to overseas entities, with New Zealand companies being overlooked.
There's a convention centre coming up. Who will that go to? There's all these other projects. Where will they go? And we believe they should stay in New Zealand.
And Labour MP Ruth Dyson agrees.
We know that the rebuild in the residential area is starting to slow down now, so it's peaked, it's still pretty big, but we want to look to the future. These big projects, the anchor projects, the hospital, they're going to be going on for years, and I think that New Zealanders have a stake in that. We should have those contracts going to New Zealanders.
And when talking to Dyson, the message was clear.
Well, I think it's really disappointing that taxpayers' money, this is part of the health budget, isn't being invested back into New Zealand businesses. It's actually being invested in Australian businesses. Of course, we'll benefit from workers. We'll have New Zealand workers involved in the project, but this is a huge build, huge amount of money, and I think that New Zealanders should have a preference.
Green Party co-leader James Shaw is in Christchurch today on a national tour, and he also feels strongly about giving New Zealanders a fair go, especially when it comes to major construction contracts.
The rebuild offers a real opportunity for local businesses and local groups to get in and build that resilient local economy. And we do think that the way that the government has intervened here has been counterproductive. If you go into the central business district, I mean, it's really clear. There's a lot of places where there's amazing rebuilding going on and everything's happening, and then other areas that are still basically a car park. And the distinction, the areas which are still basically car parks, are the areas where there's direct central government involvement.
The acute services building will have 400 beds, including a purpose-designed space for children. It will also sport a larger intensive care unit, a state-of-the-art radiology department, an emergency department and a rooftop helipad. The $300 million project is set to be completed by March 2018. Chelsea Daniels, CTV News.
It's the way of the future, and even the top dogs of timber design agree. A Christchurch home has taken out the new award for timber design, and it could be the next big thing right here in Canterbury. Jared McCulloch explains.
It's an award winner taking out the competition from around the country.
I'm ecstatic. It's great. Very, very exciting to win such an award.
This home costs around $300,000 to build, a compact 3-bedroom property, a possibility of being the next in Kiwi living.
We've shrunk them in a wee bit and increased the wall size. So some of that quantity, the big house, 200 square metre houses on average, they're expensive. You know, shrink it down a wee bit, you still can get 3 bedrooms in there. It feels voluminous and fun to be in. Double height helps that. So you can still have these illusions of a lot more space than you really got.
This house design, located in North New Brighton, took out a new category at the New Zealand Wood Timber Design Awards in Auckland, a competition that's been held annually for 40 years, focusing on all things timber in architecture.
I think they're trying to bring in more innovation into the timber design, and they're trying to think of new ways of doing things, and that's what the novel application of wood was all about. It's saying, hey, who's doing some new, really interesting things that we should be talking about?
The awards allow engineers, architects, designers and builders to showcase their innovation solely with timber, trying to produce the perfect home and incorporating multiple elements.
We're trying to get a good system going that can bring to bring all the different elements, the economics, the sustainability and the environment. We're trying to get that nice little perfect ideal and somewhere where those sectors all meet. A
design method popular in Germany, this could also help with the housing affordability crisis in New Zealand.
The efficiencies we think are coming through the prefabrication. Building in the factory I think is one of the biggest ways to get bring in some affordability, because you've got some repetitive elements going in the factory. It comes down to good design following all the way through to the implemented, delivered building on the site.
The house takes a week to put together, being made in a factory, then delivered on site. Then it takes 2 days to be made watertight. But although there's one award under their belt, they're continuing to work on new designs.
People are starting to understand the benefits of wood and as a great material to build with. We feel that many of these things are starting to come to fruition. So I think the way of the future is prefab and eco and good compact design.
With plans already underway to nab the award again next year. Jared McCulloch, CTV News.
And still to come here on CTV News, Gordon returns with your local sports news. Welcome back to CTV News. Gordon with your sports news just moments away, but Mercy is standing by with an update on that terrible weather on the way.
Good evening, Canterbury. Well, today we saw lovely sunny skies. However, we are expecting a cold southwesterly to come through this evening, bringing hail, rain and some snow to 400 metres. Today's high is 15 degrees for everyone here, apart from you, Twizel, on 13. 14 degrees was shared by Christchurch and Methven today. 16 there for Akaroa, Leeston and Ashburton. And Darfield, you're a little bit warmer on 17 degrees. Heading further north, 17 degrees also for Kaikoura, Cheviot, Amberley, Rangiora and Culverden, 16 there for Hamner Springs and Oxford. Over to the Alpine region, 8 degrees for Arthur's Pass and 11 there for Lake Tekapo. Now tomorrow is looking cold and chilly across the board, widespread rain, and we are predicting a little bit of snow for you, Timaru, down to the 300 metre mark. 8 degrees is your chilly high there. Ashburton, get your heat pumps on as well, as you're expecting a cold one. 8 degrees is your high with rain and southerly winds. Christchurch, could be a little bit of snow on the Port Hills for you and to Banks Peninsula as well. 8 degrees for the high there with those chilly southerlies. Maybe get your slippers and your PJs handy. Kaikoura, snow for you as well. Watch those roads, especially in high altitude areas. 7 degrees there for your expected high. The rest of the Canterbury region can also expect this wintry outbreak. Not so bad for South Canterbury, however, still rain and southerly winds for you. More widespread snow for Mid Canterbury and North Canterbury. Southerly winds for you guys, just 7 degrees there is the high for Akaroa and 6 for Darfield and Methven. Heading further north, precautions should be in place, especially for high country farmers. The snow coming through could affect the lambing season at the moment. Just 4 degrees there for Hamner Springs and snow for you as well. Snow for the passes, we are expecting that Porter's Pass and Lewis Pass will probably likely to be closed on Sunday morning. Sunday, looking cold as well, drizzle patches here and there, and there could be a little bit of snow still to the 500 metre mark for some. Just 5 degrees is your high Kaikoura, so a very chilly one again. Monday's looking slightly better, however cloudy skies and the occasional shower for some. Southeasterly winds and a few easterlies for Timaru and Ashburton. Sunday for the rest of the Canterbury region is looking cold, unfortunately. Maybe stay inside this weekend as there will be drizzle patches coming through, and as I mentioned before, snow still for North Canterbury. Flipping over to Monday, looking a little bit better. Still cloudy skies though, but the odd break of sun coming through. Rain for most places, occasional during the day and southeasterly winds. So over the next coming days, tonight is looking cold and chilly, and we're also expecting that snow to come through to low levels Saturday afternoon and evening as well. So despite the cold weather, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.
Thanks, Mercy. Thanks for the bad news. And don't forget, this broadcast does repeat at 6:30 p.m. every weeknight right here at CTV, or if you're up later at 9:30. And don't forget, our news team is always keen to hear from you in terms of stories, so make sure you email them if you do have a local or a community story for us. news@ctv.co.nz. Well, Gordon's here now with a wrap of the weekend sport action for you.
Starting with rugby tonight, and Canterbury are on the road this weekend when they take on North Harbour. I caught up with the team at today's training to see how they're preparing for Sunday's match. Round 6 of the ITM Cup sees Canterbury take their unbeaten record to North Harbour Stadium. North Harbour have had a poor season to date, lingering in the bottom 3 of the championship. Coach Scott Robinson won't be taking anything for granted though, with last season's encounter between the sides still fresh in his mind.
I think I even remember the score from last year. We went up and we were pretty confident with the group that we took, and we got touched up by a pretty good North Harbour team on that night. So we're taking a decent side up there and understand the importance of the game.
Last weekend saw Canterbury put in one of their best displays in recent memory, humbling Ranfurly Shield holders Hawke's Bay 29 points to 14. A highlight for the coach was the 5/8 combination of Richie Mo'unga and Rob Thompson.
Yeah, look, with Richie, Rob Thompson across, they had a great little combination working. Obviously losing Jack Goodhue, you hope someone will stand up, and Rob's done that. It's taken his opportunity to date, and for us, it gives us that little bit of depth, which is great, and we're thankful we can get this combination after 8-day turnaround.
After playing second fiddle in previous years, first five Mo'unga is enjoying the run he's been given in the 10 jersey this campaign.
Obviously to be putting the 10 jumper on, obviously a lot of great 10s have put on their jumper before, so just really enjoying the time in the jersey, and also just making the most of it, because it's pretty special.
With the likes of Carter, Slade and Taylor all heading to Europe, it's no secret that Mo'unga's performance for Canterbury could go a long way to securing him the Crusaders 10 jersey come Super Rugby season.
Yeah, look, we really want to give him time. We wanted to give him as much time as we can around an experienced group of guys and take ownership on and off the field, and he's done it today. Like, he's still growing, he's still creating a lot. Well, there is a lot of opportunities that he still has to take, and he knows that, but he's a young man and got a massive amount of ability, so it's up to him to take these opportunities, and we're supporting behind him, and it's great that this development competition, as they call it, for ITM Cup is a chance for him to earn his stripes here.
Just 2 changes have been made from last weekend's 15, with Tom Sanders coming into the 6 jersey, while Marshall Suckling will test his talents on the wing. Sunday afternoon's game against North Harbour kicks off at 2:35. Well, Rugby League now, and also protecting an unbeaten record are our Canterbury Bulls. 2 games into their season, and the Bulls are looking good to give themselves a shot at a second straight national title. To date, Canterbury have knocked off 2 formidable foes in Waikawa and Akarana, and tomorrow they have the chance to go 3 from 3 when they take on the Central Vipers at AMI Stadium. The Vipers will come to Canterbury with a 1-2 record, coming off consecutive hidings at the hands of Wellington and Counties. Tomorrow's game kicks off at 2:30. Well, the National Ford Hockey League is down to the business end of things, with the semi-finalists found at the week-long tournament in Whangarei. There will be no semi-final appearance for the Canterbury men this year, the Cavaliers missing out on a playoff berth by the narrowest of margins. While the team have only lost 1 game outright, coach Andrew Hastie explains that the team were guilty of failing to turn draws into victories.
Pretty frustrating week. We've done enough in every single match to win, and unfortunately we've drawn too many, and it's cost us in the end a chance to play in the top 4, and we believe have a good chance of winning the tournament. So we're extremely disappointed. We all see it as just a missed opportunity.
It's better news for our women's side, the Canterbury Cats. They finished their round robin in top spot and will now take on 4th place Northland in tomorrow's semi-final. With the tournament being held in Whangarei though, there will be no top qualifier advantage for the Cats.
That'll be a close game. I think Northland's a good side for a number of black sticks also. Like the Cats, so, and with the hometown support up here on a Saturday, it will be absolutely, they support their sport very well up here. So even the other night it was an absolute packed stadium. So I would have thought tomorrow Northland with a home crowd could be a difficult proposition for the Cats, but they've been playing great hockey and it's a good team. So well coached. So I would have thought they're still the favourites, but it'll be a difficult game.
The national tournament wraps up with both the national men's and women's finals on Sunday. And just finally tonight, there's an annual treat for motorsport fans this weekend. Rangiora's Matt Summerfield will be out to defend his title at the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint. Top drivers from around the country will also make the trip in an attempt to get their hands on one of the country's famous rallying titles. Tomorrow's racing will consist of qualifying with elimination finals on Sunday. Well, you're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Findlater for CTV Sport.
Thanks, Gordon. And that is your CTV News. Have a great weekend.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.